Welcome back, everyone, to The Deep Dive. This time, we're going to take a look at an interesting partnership.
Okay.
The one between Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
We've got the Spanish news segment, and it really dives into how they're connected and especially how it affected the last U.S. election.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't really expect these two to be in the same room together, let alone,
Right.
political allies.
Yeah, they come from such different backgrounds, it seems like.
Exactly.
So where did it all start?
Well, it wasn't exactly a love story from the get-go. In
Yeah.
fact, the segment even highlights how there was some friction early on.
Really?
Yeah, almost like a crash of the titans, maybe fueled by, their different personalities or their approaches to things.
Yeah, I can see that, but obviously something changed.
Right.
I mean, they found some common ground, and it seems like they both dislike what people call woke culture.
Exactly. The segment really emphasizes that. They both have an aversion to this idea of being too politically correct or limiting free speech,
Absolutely.
Musk even called it a virus,
Yeah.
which was a pretty provocative statement, obviously. It got people talking.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was
Yeah.
a bold statement. It definitely got people talking. And it shows how much their ideologies align, I guess, which is probably a big reason why they teamed up.
Yeah, I think so. I think their shared values, particularly how they view this supposed cultural overreach, really strengthen their bond. And we can't forget the financial side of things, too.
Oh, right.
The segment mentions that Musk put a lot of money into Trump's campaign,
Okay.
like a huge amount, $119 million.
Whoa, that's a serious chunk of change. You don't just throw that kind of money around without expecting something in return.
Exactly.
So what do you think Musk was hoping to get out of this?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. The segment suggests that Musk might have wanted to use this connection to help his companies, like SpaceX and Tesla.
Right.
Maybe he was thinking about favorable government contracts policies that would support his businesses.
Yeah.
Or even maybe a position in a potential Trump administration.
like a cabinet position or something.
All right, exactly.
So you think it was kind of a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours situation.
It's possible, right?
Trump praises Musk, calls him a genius and a rising star. And in return, Musk gets this powerful advocate for his businesses.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it.
Okay, so we've got this shared ideology,
Right.
potential business gains, and maybe even some mutual admiration going on.
Yeah.
But there's another piece to this puzzle that we can't ignore.
Okay.
What about social media?
Yeah.
Specifically X, formerly Twitter.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Musk's influence really comes into play there. The segment describes X as like an echo chamber for Trump's campaign messages during the election.
Interesting.
It's like it amplified his rhetoric and his reach.
Yeah, that's a powerful tool to have, especially during an election. It makes you wonder how much control over X actually influenced the outcome.
Well, it's hard to say for sure what the exact impact was.
Right.
But it definitely had a role.
Yeah.
The segment actually compares X to other platforms like Facebook and points out that X was a much better environment for Trump's message to really resonate.
So it wasn't just about the money.
No.
Musk was actively using his platform to help Trump politically. It really raises some questions about power dynamics, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does.
It shows how technology, business, and politics are all becoming more and more intertwined.
Right. And it's especially interesting when you consider Musk's connection with China.
China. Now that adds a whole other layer to this.
Exactly.
How does Musk's involvement with China fit into all of this?
Well, you see, Musk has built a strong relationship with China, which is super important for Tesla because of their supply chain and their sales there.
Okay. Yeah.
However, Trump's stance on China has been, shall we say,
Right.
a bit less friendly.
Yeah.
His policies are often seen as kind of antagonistic toward China.
So you've got Musk needing to stay on good terms with China for his business to do well.
Right.
But at the same time, he's supporting a politician who might clash with them.
Exactly. And that's where things start to get complicated. It's
Yeah.
like a recipe for conflict.
Yeah, it seems like this alliance, as beneficial as it might have been for both of them, could be on shaky ground.
Oh.
So let's dive deeper into that in the next part of our deep dive. So we're back. And we're still trying to untangle this whole Musk-Trump situation.
Right.
Especially this tension between Musk's ties with China and Trump's stance on it. It's a bit of a tightrope walk, isn't it?
It really is. The news segment points out that Trump, while praising Musk, actually signed statements during his campaign that were pretty critical of Tesla.
Wow.
And he was advocating for trade barriers to protect American car companies from Chinese competition.
That's pretty bold considering they were supposed to be allies. It's like there was this underlying tension even when they were trying to present a united front.
Absolutely. It just shows how complex their relationship really was. And it brings up a big question. How did Musk deal with these conflicting interests? How did he manage to stay in Trump's good books while still protecting his businesses that relied on China?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's like they were playing a game of political chess trying to protect their own interests while also anticipating the other's next move.
That's a great way to put it. And the segment suggests that Musk was definitely playing the game strategically. He used his relationship with Trump to advocate for Tesla, even with all the trade tensions going on.
So even though Trump was publicly pushing back against China, Musk was working behind the scenes to get favorable treatment for Tesla.
It seems that way. He was trying to get tax exemptions and other benefits, maybe using his influence with Trump to get ahead.
That's pretty clever maneuvering. So it wasn't just about personal gain or money for Musk.
Right.
It seems like he was strategically positioning himself and his companies to have a say in policy and shape the future the way he wanted.
Exactly. It really makes you think about the bigger picture of this alliance, the influence of wealth and technology on politics. And what happens when powerful people use their resources to push their own agendas?
It's not just about Musk and Trump. It affects all of us. It shows why transparency and accountability are so important in our political systems.
You're absolutely right. And it also highlights the need for critical thinking and being informed. We have to be aware of these power dynamics and how they can impact society.
That's what makes this deep dive so interesting. It's not just about gossip or personalities. It's about understanding how power works in the world today.
Exactly. The more we understand these things, the better we can navigate them and make sure our voices are heard.
Okay, so let's go back to social media for a minute. The segment mentioned that Musk wasn't just amplifying Trump's messages on X. He was using his other companies to support Trump's campaign too.
That's right. Like using SpaceX's Starlink satellite internet service during those hurricanes to provide communication in disaster areas.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's like a subtle way of connecting Trump with this cutting-edge technology and making him look good.
It was a smart move.
Yeah, a real soft power play.
Yeah.
So again, we come back to the big question. Can this alliance, with all its ups and downs and potential conflicts, really last?
That's the million-dollar question. With all the possible friction points China trade competing interests, can their shared ideology and ambition overcome all those challenges?
That's what we'll explore in the last part of our deep dive. We'll look at what could break them apart and what the future might hold for this unlikely pair. Stay tuned, because it's about to get even more interesting. Okay, so we've talked about their shared goals and all the potential benefits of this Musk-Trump alliance.
Right.
But we also can't ignore those potential conflicts of interest,
Exactly.
like Musk's ties with China and how that might clash with Trump's policies.
Yeah.
So the big question is, can this partnership actually survive in the long run?
That's the million-dollar question.
It's been a wild ride so far,
Sure
right?
it has.
With all the shared ambitions and the strategic moves, but also those potential conflicts.
Definitely.
But can it last? The news segment hints at a possible breaking point.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to Musk's potential role in a Trump government. A role in the government. I remember hearing rumors about that back then, but nothing ever came of it.
Right.
What does this segment say about it?
Well, according to the segment, Musk was seriously considered for a cabinet position
Really?
as Secretary of Efficiency.
What? Secretary of Efficiency?
Yeah, they saw it as a way to streamline government operations, cut spending, and bring in a more business-like approach.
So basically make the government run like one of Musk's companies.
Yeah, kind of. It's an interesting idea, right?
Yeah, I can almost see him trying to shake things up in Washington.
But the segment suggests that even though this appointment would show how much Trump trusted Musk, it could also have been a big problem for the administration.
Why is that? I mean, wouldn't someone like Musk, with all his innovation and business skills, be a good thing for the government?
Maybe in theory, but remember Musk's close ties to China.
Oh, right.
The ones that are so important for Tesla.
Yeah.
Well, those ties could have become a big liability if he had a high-level position in the government.
Because of Trump's stance on China.
Exactly. Trump's policies towards China were often seen as pretty hostile, which would clash directly with Musk's business interests. It would have put him in a really tough spot.
It's like the ultimate conflict of interest.
Yeah. Musk would be torn between being loyal to the Trump administration and his responsibility to his companies.
It's a tricky situation.
Yeah.
It really shows how complicated global business and international politics can be.
It definitely does.
Good argument.
And it raises some important questions for all of us.
Like what?
Like, how do we balance national interests with the realities of the global economy?
Yeah.
And how much influence should people with a lot of wealth and big businesses have on government policy?
Those are some big questions, especially in a world that's becoming more and more interconnected.
Right.
So it seems like this Musk-Trump partnership, even though it had potential, was built on pretty shaky foundation.
That's a fair assessment. We can't know for sure what would have happened if Musk had taken that cabinet position, but the potential for conflict was definitely there.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if their ambition and disregard for the rules would have ended up backfiring.
It's a thought-provoking idea.
So after this whole deep dive, what's the takeaway? Do you think both Musk and Trump got what they wanted out of this partnership?
I think on a basic level, they both gained something.
Yeah.
Musk got access to power and influence, which could have helped his companies.
Right.
And Trump got a powerful ally with a ton of resources and a huge following.
But the long-term effects of their alliance are still up for debate.
Exactly.
It's a fascinating example of how technology, wealth, and politics all come together in the world today.
It really is. And it shows why it's so important to stay informed, understand the forces at play in society,
Yeah,
and have these important conversations about the challenges we're facing.
absolutely. So to wrap up our deep dive, I hope exploring this Musk-Trump alliance has given you some new insights.
Yeah.
We encourage you to keep learning about these topics, stay curious, and have those tough conversations about the future.
Exactly. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and stay open to different perspectives.
And don't forget to follow and share your thoughts on this episode. We love hearing what you think.
I do.
So until next time, keep diving deep.
Voice